First of all, I'm going to try and answer questions that you might have, so you don't have to ask me those questions, and you can ask me different questions. Most common question I'm asked is, why are you not in the titles? Return of the Jedi. I am in the titles. Who can tell me where I am in the titles? Who knows where? Near the end, after Ewoks, there's a group of people called mime artists, and there are 6 of us. 9 of us, 6 of us, I forget momentarily because of the noise. We were hired to play the creatures of Jabba's court, and we knew that some of us were also going to play Mon Calamari. Now, if you could see, for those of you who don't know, at the time he was called Squidhead, now he's called, what's his name? Tesseg, Mon Calamari officer. What some of you might not know is that I had scenes with Akbar that weren't in the film as the Mon Calamari officer. 2 pages of additional dialogue. It's because there were holes in the plot. It didn't make sense. So they decided to add these additional scenes. If I give you one of my lines, it was, "Sir, the shield around the Death Star has lost power." Okay? That's a pretty crucial plot line, isn't it? So if you don't have a line like that, it doesn't make sense. So who can tell me what line they added instead of that? The shield around the Death Star has lost power was replaced with, "The shield is down." That's a pretty important bit of information. However, if you want to find those 2 pages of additional scenes, you can download them from my website. Also 2 call sheets. Some of you have heard this already. Call sheet in Britain tells you what's going to happen on set the next day. This one is dated February 16th of October, February 1982. Who can tell me the title at the top of the page?
Revenge of the Jedi.
Revenge of the Jedi. You can download these 2 from my website. Also, if you go to my Wikipedia page, you probably haven't seen these. There are links to 3 interviews at the bottom. Fantastic interviews with photographs and information not seen anywhere else, I guarantee. Okay, call sheet. These refer to the Battle of Endor. Yellow means 2nd unit. Okay, this was a few days later, 19th of February. Battle of Endor. 2nd unit, unimportant. 2nd assistant usually directs those. Yeah? But these were so important. These were blue screen scenes. The only person who knew what was going to be in the blue screens was George Lucas, so he directed these. Not many people know that. If you want confirmation, there's a little paperback book, do you know it? The Making of Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Yeah? It's probably going to come out for the 30th anniversary. It'll be reprinted. Brilliant book. It confirms that. I think it's page 142 or something, if you want confirmation. On the 2 pages of script, additional scenes, which you'll see on my website, I'm called Aide. Yeah? On the call sheet, I'm called Officer, Controller, Aide. So everything it says Aide were lines that I had that weren't used in the film. Okay, now, when I first came along and asked Lucasfilm, is anybody recording this? Are you recording my voice?
Yeah, I'm not going to go anywhere.
I'll have to be careful what I say.
Won't go anywhere.
Steve Sansweet said, because I don't have that many photographs of me as the Mon Calamari, he said if you can find something that we could freeze frame and maybe take a screen grab. So that's why I stopped to start the film. I watched the whole thing with Mon Cal, stopped to start the film. Could that be used? Could that be used? And I found out something that I'm surprised you guys, who know everything, don't seem to know. Get your DVD, fast forward to about 46 minutes, which is Akbar's first appearance in the film. Can you picture it? Yeah? The camera's down there, looking up at Akbar and the Mon Calamari. Right, so that's the briefing room down there, isn't it? And that's the bridge out there. Yeah? So Akbar's leaning on the rail like this, looking down. I'm the Mon Cal who's sitting on the right with his back to you guys. Now, if you fast forward to about 1 hour 50 minutes, 57 minutes, that scene continues. I don't know how much time passes in, the intervening hour between 46 minutes and 1 hour 57 minutes, but that scene continues. So Akbar's leaning here. There's a guy sitting there with his back to you. There's a guy sitting there with his back to you. That's me. There's a monk out here wearing a cap, right? At 46 minutes. And he starts to walk off screen left. When you fast forward to 1 hour 57 minutes, he has just disappeared.
To prove the new Mr. Muscle range tackles the filthiest of jobs with plenty of muscle, we gave it to someone with none. It will devour the greasiest oven. Cold. It restores to new the grimiest of tiles and grouting. In fact, however stubborn a job, it's so powerful it even cuts down on elbow grease. Mr. Muscle loves the jobs you hate.
Big and heavy it was. Beside a human face, you see exactly how big it is. Right? Now this human face, he's called Vinicius. He was the founder and original commanding officer of the Brazilian garrison. He's my sponsor into the wonderful 501st, these guys, who do so much at events for charity and stuff. This was an exhibition in Brazil. It's huge. I'll talk about that a little later. That's what I was telling you about in Poland, when the coach broke down. We watched the film with stopping and starting, and I was saying, no. I was talking about what Carrie Fisher was doing, and it brought back so many memories. And there I am in the credits. After Ewoks, there's a list of mime artists. Only Star Wars street in the world named after a Star Wars character is in Poland. Obi-Wan Kenobi Street. Anybody speak Polish? It really is called Obi-Wan Kenobi Street.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I've been there 3 times. Oh my God. Okay, is anybody following Chris's, I think, what I've been writing on Rebel Scum? Yeah? I was asked to write that about what I did in Return of the Jedi, and what I know about creatures. So if you go to Rebel Scum, are you registered in the forum? You'll find these. Photographs, all the Moncala photographs that I'm in. There's a lot of confusion about it because there's so many people crawling out of the woodwork saying they played this character or that character, and sometimes they didn't, right? So I went to a lot of trouble, sent this to Lucasfilm and Official Pics, exactly where I am in all the photographs. And this one is a still photo. This one is a still photo. There's no doubt that it's me because I was the only one there with Tim Rose. We were the only 2 called. But again, this is, if you want these, it's on Rebel Scum, or in those interviews I said were my Wikipedia page. If I had more time, I would talk more about all of these, but I don't. No, they'll take too long to talk about that. Okay, we'll talk about this. Opening in America next Friday. I have a little scene in this movie called London Boulevard. It's opening some places, some cities this Friday, some on the 18th of November. London Boulevard. It's a modern take on Sunset Boulevard. You know, the reclusive actress? Yeah. Except this time, it's a young actress played by Keira Knightley. Star Wars actress Keira Knightley, who played, what did she play? She played one of the decoy queen?
Yeah, the movie.
Whatever. She's in it. She filmed her part in 8 days. It's not that huge part. The stars Colin Farrell. It was directed by a guy called William Monahan, Boston boy, who won an Oscar for The Departed. You know The Departed with Martin Scorsese directed? He wrote that and got an Oscar for it. This is the first film he directed in London. And I play an undertaker in the, it's cut down to a cameo role, but I'm in it, I'm in the credits. I spent a day standing around the grave with Colin Farrell. Did anybody see In Bruges?
Yes.
Well done. Did you like it?
Yes.
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
You already know you don't need muscles to use Mr. Muscle Non-Smear Window Cleaner. Now we'll prove Mr. Muscle No Rinse Bathroom Cleaner is just as tough. Mr. Muscle loves the jobs you hate.
Mr. Muscle, I did these commercials all over Europe and Australia, New Zealand, and everywhere. You can find them on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Gerald Home, my name, Mr. Muscle, original ad, and you'll find all my original adverts.
That's awesome.
Guys in the 501st, for example, in Britain, now, who used to have my little action figures, now they know that the face inside was Mr. Muscle, who used to be on during their children's TV program. But yeah, that's an example of, he's very accident prone. You know, he trips over and goes up with the blind and falls asleep. It's very like me. You know? So it's another example of that success comes when you play something that's very close to yourself, like Colin Farrell. I did this for 10 years. Another film I did last year, which was destroyed by the critics at Cannes, Hideo Nakata. Does anybody know him, the director? He directed Ringo, The Ring, Dark Water, J-horror. Yeah? Genius. I'm not a horror fan, but I think those films are genius. This was his first non-horror film. It stars Aaron Johnson, Kick-Ass. Yeah?
Kick-Ass.
I had a scene with him. I played a pervert, basically. Two ways of putting it. I was a pervert. But he was a genius. Just genius. I don't know if you're interested in little acting tips, but Aaron Johnson at the time was 19. He was also in a film about John Lennon called Nowhere Boy. Don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Directed by an artist called Sam Taylor Wood, who's 43. They're a couple now. They have a child and another one on the way. So every time you saw Aaron Johnson, you know that what he was up to the night before. He had no energy. And when we were filming this scene, Hideo Nakata pulled me to the side and he said, "Gerald, please, I want to tell you something." And he said, "Aaron, typical teenager. He have no energy. He probably have too much sex." Should have said that. But this is quite brilliant what he said to me. He said, I notice when you're with Aaron and you go big, 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 Aaron goes big, big, big. Yeah? So he said, when the camera's on Aaron and you're saying the lines, please go big, 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 too big. And when the camera's on you, we'll do it properly. And he was right. It was whenever I went too big and sort of fondled myself and everything, you know? It made Aaron big and cocky. But then I had to do another scene with a young actress, just out of drama school. And she was the opposite. If I went too big with her, she became aggressive. And he said, with young actors, don't go big, go small. Throw away lines. And just laugh, so she doesn't become aggressive. And I think that's brilliant.
Dirty floors are no problem with new Mr. Muscle Floor Cleaner. It wipes out grease and grime and fights germs too. And as for those greasy little marks, new Mr. Muscle Multi-Surface Polish. It cleans clean through just about everything, because Mr. Muscle loves the jobs you hate.
It's a film set in the 1950s called Where I Belong. It's Austrian-British co-production. I play a 1950s typing teacher. The title's going to change because another film of that name was released this year. Fake moustache. Tons of makeup for high definition. So that's going to be released next year. Anybody's interested in Dave Prowse, your Commander-in-Chief? I visited him a couple of weeks ago. He had another operation recently in his hip. Big success. Pain is gone. He's walking without his sticks. His cancer's still under control. I was sent these patches by the Brazilian division for their 10th anniversary. And they asked me to deliver one for them. So, I told your friends he's very well. Still not travelling because everything's still swollen. His legs and his ankles are like tree trunks. Right, final thing I'm going to show you, whether you like it or not, and then you can ask me questions. Movie Park Germany is sort of like Disneyland. Centre of Germany last year, I was the Star Wars guest. 120 members of the German garrison with the Dutch outpost and the Belgian outpost. Right? Stunning.
Like it that much.
I knew there was a guy called Carsten in the German garrison, had made a Tesseract costume, right? That's him in his Tesseract costume. Only one in the world. It hasn't officially been recognised yet because they say the belt is the wrong colour, right? Oh, but the standards are very high, aren't they? You know, before the headquarters approve a costume, it has to be screen perfect, is that right? Screen accurate. So I knew I was going to meet him. What I didn't know was going to happen. I asked if I could be in the parade, and they said, no, you can't be in the parade. No, you're going to have a press conference, you can't be in the parade. So I'm going to be in the parade, 120 people. However, they lied. And they opened these gates, and behind the gates were this little cartoon car with Carsten inside in his costume. So we went through the park. You see? It was the most stunning day of my life. And there were 20,000 people, members of the public. Brilliant day in June. And then this big lineup outside the movie museum, right? Carsten again. He snuck away, came back with a box, right? Which they presented to me live on television. And inside the box was my own Tesseract mask.
Oh my God.
They'd give me my own Tesseract mask. Isn't that stunning? Now, for those of you who are interested in making costumes, at this very moment he's making the very first that I know of Mon Calamari officer costume. He's been sending me JPEGs of the mold and then the sculpt and then the first mask and as he's painting it, and he's CCing it, all these emails to Vinicius in Brazil, 501st, and my webmaster who's 501st in New Zealand. So all these photographs are going all around the world, which I love.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I don't know if you find that interesting or not. That's what's happening in my little corner of the Star Wars.